Those 11 original Icarian immigrants back in 1903 got together under difficult, adverse conditions in a strange land and somehow decided there was a need to form a brotherhood to help Icarians here in America. And that's remarkable because it had never been done before.
Well, to me, this is family. The Pan-Icarian is like a home away from home.
It's like we're a little family that everybody can be a part.
It gives you a place in the universe that you could always call home.
With Icarians, it's like everyone has the same blood and everyone has the same background, so it's like you can share that common ground.
I think forming the Icarian Club, we can go back and we can almost like scratch the soil of where our grandparents came from.
Icaria was a poor place, and that their fathers and mothers really had a struggle. It was a struggle to survive.
Πολύ σκληρή στην Ικαρία.
At that time, don't forget, Icaria was part of the Ottoman Empire.
Under the Ottoman Empire, they couldn't even have a ladder to build a second floor to their houses.
Όλοι το ξέρουμε ότι η Ικαρία ήταν φτωχό νησί και από τα παλιά χρόνια οι άνθρωποι φεύγανε από εκεί.
What would happen to these young men, because many of them were being drafted to fight on the Ottoman side.
Icarians were leaving Icaria if they wanted a future to go either to Egypt or the luckier ones came here.
The very fact that they would take such a massive undertaking of leaving everything that they knew, everything that they were acquainted with, to go to someplace else to start fresh, I think was a Herculean effort.
That they had the guts to leave that island and come here it was the greatest thing.
The first big group came between 1895 and 1921 or 22.
Usually the migration patterns of Greeks is that there's some pioneer who comes to an area, writes home and says there's jobs here.
Those people, they have no families. Everybody came alone here just to work a little bit and come back.
You had to put down where you were going. You couldn't just say, here I am. You had to have an address of where you were going to stay when you're in the United States. And they often would put P.O. boxes in Verona. And they often mentioned specific individuals who must have, one way or the other, sponsored dozens or hundreds of people. In Pittsburgh, there was a Dimitrios Vasilaros who had a grocery store at 546 Fifth Avenue. And many Cariotes used his name and the address of that store as their destination.
It was a network to help the immigrants, the newly arrived immigrants, to try and give them a start in life.
Anastasio Diniaco had a business of painting. You know, everybody, they didn't know anything, so they'd go over there and work.
The Cariotes came here because some other individual was the first guy here, and he brought somebody else, and then they all came. The Cariotes were not attracted to the cold winters or to the dangerous working conditions, but they were jobs.
Στην αρχή ήταν δύσκολα, πολλά δύσκολα.
When an immigrant came to this country, he had great nerve. He couldn't speak English. He's probably very poorly educated in Greek.
Life for them, it was very hard. They live in a strange country that didn't know how to speak English.
When they came here, they found that they were not a very welcome group.
There was a lot of prejudice against the Greek immigrants. They were at the bottom, close to the bottom of the immigration change, and people didn't treat Greeks very well.
People thought of them as something different from what they were.
And they had one another to depend on. They lived in boarding houses together as they went on to these different jobs.
I remember those big apartment houses, they call them mochela.
And they had one room and they had one bed and they took turns sleeping on that bed.
This week you'll be the cook. The next week you'll be a dishwasher. The next week you go buy the groceries for the rest of them. They live like commune.
There's a sense of family, a sense of safety perhaps, a sense of support perhaps.
Η δουλειά ήταν σκληρή, αλλά είχαν απόδοση, από χρηματική απόδοση, από ζωή καλύτερη, τότες ήταν καλύτερα στην Αμερική, γι' αυτό και μετά προσπαθούσαν και φέρναν ο ένας τον άλλο συγγενείς στην Αμερική.
It was a very hard, dangerous, dirty job.